On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. China, crypto, troops all over the place, and payment and a bunch of stuff. And then Ukraine. Like, all of these things are happening right now. Majorly. Affecting stock markets, crypto. Crypto had a whoa moment, freaking a lot of people out. In fact, a huge amount of wealth transferred out of crypto. Just out. All of them just, even XRP even dropped down a bit, right? So that's amazing what's going on right now. A lot of things are happening. Chuck Schumer basically walking the Democrats off a cliff, and they're actually starting to figure it out. There's some speculation that he might try to pull back somehow. Maybe get a small favor from some of the more moderate Democrats. Be like, dude, we need 7 of you all. Can I find 7 of you to help me get out of this mess? And then I can still be like, I tried. Chuck Schumer's failing so hard right now in his attempt to try to moonwalk away from the ledge, away from the edge, my friend. It's way too late. Everybody hates him. Everyone hated him for what he did last time. Everyone hates him for what he's doing right now, right? So, guys, well, some would say, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And yeah, you don't very well. That's all I can say there, Chucky boy. Hey, I'm curious about this. Like, I feel like, I don't know, is this like somehow making fun of the sombrero that they've been doing? What are these hats? What's going on, Jewish people? I don't know enough about your culture to understand what the friggity frick these are. Is this a Jewish sombrero? Is this their attempt at being kind of, we're with Trump with our sombrero? I don't know how they would, I don't even know how to speak Yiddish. Like, I can't even make Yiddish words up. I just don't, it looks like they have turf on their heads. I mean, obviously the quality of this video is epic at 352. Woo! If only it weren't so good. Anyway, whatever the case is, it is what it is. That's what I know. Here's Donald Trump, I think, well, shoving it in their face. He truthed this out.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
It would have been cool too to have that one guy in the back. Oh, you know, the guy. There's that meme. You guys have seen that one meme. I want to say it's a black fella. You know, I feel like that'll help. But it's just funny as hell. Skinny little scrawny guy, just big eyes, very funny. And yeah, Trump is, well, shoving it in their face because frankly, it's not looking good for them. Not even a teeny tiny bit. Trump truthed this out. The Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so, which it is, a lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam. Do something. President Donald J. Trump. Obviously a call to FBI, Bondi, and all these people. Figure out what the hell's going on. Certainly FBI, Kash Patel, with these 274 people. I want to know everything about who these people were. I want to know who their commanding officers were. I want to see that whole chain of events. The war is on, folks. Be careful is all I can say. Be very careful. Tucker Carlson talking to Tim Burchett. Well, we'll talk after.
What happens is you're overseas, you're sitting at a bar, and they know what you're into, guys, gals, combination thereof, drugs, whatever, and they'll hook you up, and you're thinking you're the stud, your wife's away, nobody will know halfway around the world. You end up sleeping with somebody. Next day, you're flying back to America, you know, you're front row at the church, and then you're getting ready to make a key vote, and somebody comes up and whispers in your ear, hey, man, were you in a motel room with a girl and Istanbul or something? And he's like, oh, crap. He goes, man, we don't want that out. And he goes, no, we're not going to put that out. He said, if you can help us on this little bill, though. Now, that's the way they used to do it. And I'm not so certain they don't do that now.
100% certain they're still doing that. So this blackmailing ring that we all think is Epstein. I mean, first off, Playboy Mansion was doing it. Epstein was doing it. And numerous others, from what I understand. There was a madam up in New York. There's been a number of people that handle the higher price clientele. And there's a lot of things that go with that. Security, quality of people that you might come across while you're there. But also, yeah, they're getting information on you. If you're doing anything that's scandalous, right? Then yeah, you are definitely going to get in trouble. And they're going to hold it over your head. This is how the deep state works. Period. And they're doing it all over the place. So again, we get hung up on Epstein. There's many Epsteins. Epstein, most of his stuff, they burned. These guys aren't stupid. They don't keep a lot of records around. I know we saw a safe that had, it was a picture and there was a bunch of like DVDs in there. Oh, there's DVDs. And we all assume what's on them. And who knows what's on them, frankly. Yes, there could be video that he likes or that could be video that certainly he's trying to keep himself out of jail with. He probably had a bunch of slime on a lot of people, and that's probably why so much of that information was burned. Again, he made deals long before Trump. And so this idea we got to release everything, I don't know. I don't know. You don't know either. None of us know what's actually in these files. Huge amounts of assumption. A lot of that has been pushed by people that I question very heavily right now, frankly. Right now especially. I am seeing a very common group that has been consistent through this whole thing. And I'm like, uh-huh. And seeing them right now, I feel are outing themselves, but I don't think everybody sees it quite yet. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, put this out. At the president's direction, the Department of War is establishing a new counter-narcotics joint task force in the Southcom area of responsibility to crush the cartels, stop the poison, and keep America safe. The message is clear. If you traffic drugs towards our shores, we will stop you cold. No submarines, no submersibles, certainly no high-speed fast boats, none of that kind of crap. We will blow you up. There's no way you're shipping it that way. And land travel's probably significantly more difficult. So we are stopping the movement of the deep state money. That is what is happening in the world right now. Now, a lot of us are going, Israel, hate Israel, there's probably some strategic stuff happening there. Israel's saved for last for a reason. So again, I don't want to even get off on the track. There's a lot there to unpack. There's a lot of people that are being very anti-Israel. And then there's a lot of people that are very pro-Hamas or pro-Palestine, but same thing. And I always feel like the truth has got to be somewhere in between that. There's just no damn way one side's right and the other side's wrong. I've never, ever seen that actually be true ever in life. So I know that's not the case. Somewhere in the middle is really where the truth is. And a lot of us, don't want to see that other side's version anyway. Again, it's just a largely complex problem. We are attacking the deep state hard right now. It is very kinetic right now. If the deep state is going to do anything, or if adverse stuff is going to happen, it's really going to be in this next period of time. We've been saying Red October forever. Everything about this month is looking very much like it's going to be a Red October. And I don't think it's going to stop in November, by the way. I don't think November is going to be like, like muted tones of orange. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be pretty heavy red. We are going into an extraordinary moment. And I mean that in the sense that a lot of weird stuff's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be experiencing very different experiences of this, by the way. And we've seen that played out all over the place, right? You've got your progressive sides that are, they're freaking out, right? That one girl is, that's always screaming that we use in all the memes. We've got people on our side that are thinking that, Jesus is coming down, and, we've got the comet that's sort of losing steam because it didn't run into Mars, and they're like, we don't have any good pictures, though. It's like, yeah, the government shutdown's odd, and then there's people that are saying, well, that's must be the timing of the shutdown. I'm like, I don't think the shutdown's to hide the comet. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other things that are way more important in the big picture here locally than we can't know what this stupid thing is in space, right? Like, whatever. It's so very trippy right now. They say when the magnetic field changes on the planet, by the way, that people's kind of can start getting a little crazy. So I kind of think that's what it is, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily that they're bad. I think a lot of people are having a hard time making true, good, rational thoughts, like making steps through logic and be like, does that actually make sense, what I just said to myself? And sometimes maybe no. Supposedly the DOJ is preparing charges against John Bolton following this FBI raid. So there's the expectation that he is likely going to be arrested-ish. They're not going to perp walk him. They've made a big deal, too, about saying they're not going to do that kind of stuff. So he'll either be like, you come on in, or if we have to arrest you, we'll do it secretly and nobody needs to know. But, they're not trying to be embarrassing per se, but they are trying to follow the law. And certainly for the people that have been some of the biggest hypocrites publicly, especially, yeah, these bastards are going down. And this Bolton feller falls into that. So we'll see. Grand jury in Maryland's been examining the evidence for several weeks that he retained classified stuff. People are trying to play it down. His lawyer, of course, is like, it's just going to blow over. Trust me. No, if he had classified stuff, this ain't blowing over. Bolton's going to jail. Other people went to jail for this. You guys messed with Trump. Well, you didn't put Trump in jail, but you tried. This is an interesting point that I brought this up, and maybe I'm being ignorant to this. I don't know. We'll see. Dominion voting system sold to a company run by a former Republican election official. Democrats are suddenly now freaking out about these voting machines. It's just like they freaked out when Elon Musk bought Twitter. Now, hopefully, this guy's actually going to make the software safer, but we know they're hackable. Making them not hackable is not easy. Somehow getting somebody like what do they call it? A Judas goat, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, the sheep pen, when they take the sheep to the slaughter, they'll use a Judas goat. It's a goat that seems smarter than the average sheep, right? And it'll veer off at the last minute. They open up a special door for the goat, and the goat goes out of the way, and the sheep just keep heading on down to get a nail gun to the back of the head or whatever, however you lop a sheep. I don't even know how you kill sheep. It's pretty, it depends on the place possibly too. But all said, I don't know how much I trust these electric systems. So I'm very leery of this sudden popularity. Oh, it was a Republican that bought it. This dude, what? So he's just going to spend a crap ton of money and then what? Just either what? Not use it? And we're going to go to paper ballots, which that seems like a really bad investment. Or, okay, maybe he's going to try to make it good like Elon Musk did with X. Okay. I still don't want to use electronic voting, but if we have to, or if there's places that are going to insist on it, and the places that do currently use them, like California and all these guys, is he actually trying to force them to cancel these contracts? I mean, again, there's a lot to this, right? There's some places that are going to use electronic in some way, shape, or form, regardless of what Trump does nationally. Though they'll probably have to, like you'll have a paper ballot probably for the presidential election only, and then they'll hand you a separate thing for all the other stuff. That's very likely. We'll see. I don't know. This is one of those things where I, might have been a little premature on my first bit of analysis, sitting with it a little bit. Sidney Powell's a little pissed off right now. I don't know what's going on here. Apparently something going on with Sarah Huckabee. And we're talking about election engineering and people not trusting these voting ballot machines. And it sounds like what state is Huckabee under? I forget what state it is over there on the East Coast, but they're going to go to the voting machines. Now, again, maybe it's the new machine. Hard to say, but a lot of people are like, what is going on? Sarah Huckabee, Sidney Powell's on this one. General Flynn's sharing this. Something to ask about, that's for sure. Man urinates on the altar at the Vatican City's St. Peter's Basilica during a Holy Mass. There you go. That's I mean, dang. Like, I don't know. But now, I will say I watched the video. I guess we can play it, because I don't think you see anything, right? That's the wrong way to go with it. You don't just pull up your pants if you're midstream, right, fellas? Am I lying here? Like, you're midstream, like, you can crimp it maybe. I get you, but I don't think you ever started going. You talk about, like, sometimes you go into a restroom. This is a guy thing, You always have, like, a space between you, urinal-wise, if you can. It's like the thing you do, right? But if you can't, I don't know. There's always just, like, when you first get there, you got to kind of relax. Just be like, man, I got people standing around me while I'm just trying to pee. Man, this is fucking weird, right? So, stage fright, so they call it. I would imagine it's very hard to. He almost peed on the altar. that is, I mean, many people, if there is a God, that would be the place to just see lightning come crashing down, right? Just, like peas on an electric cord they didn't realize was there and just fries them through the pea. I mean, that would be, kind of funny, actually, when you do shit like that. But, yeah, whatever. This is where we are. Goldman maps out power crisis as forward concerns stay localized. Again, I've talked about inflation. They don't talk about electricity in the inflation numbers. Inflation numbers do not count electricity. Electricity prices, as you can see in this graph here, have gone up hugely. This is what, 2002? Oh, it's 22. So hang on, let me just look at it. Let's just make this easier. Yeah, 2022. Okay, so 2020, interesting, COVID. Power bills normal, then spike in electricity since then. Spike, hugely, gone way up, significantly up, and it's going upper further, right? I'm making up words on purpose, don't worry. It's not counted. Gas isn't counted, which Trump's brought down a lot, but not electricity. Electricity is largely a state thing too, by the way. So this is going to be a tough little part of this experience as well. And this part might actually take a year plus, but it's going to require us to make noise locally in our own states. That's why we keep talking about you really got to bring it back to the local level. A lot of people are waiting for Trump to fix it. Your state, Trump can't fix to a large extent. State fixing has to come from within. Trump administration lays off 4,000 federal workers as government shutdown drags on. So, yeah, Russell Vogt is shutting it down. Shutting it down. We've heard that was what he was going to do. He's basically saying it's going to be Democrat-oriented stuff. Very curious what that actually qualifies into when they get there, but Senator Jim Banks says 25 years of free trade with China have proven the experts wrong. See, China was always supposed to be our friends. They were going to be nice, yada, yada. But all in all, they were stealing technology. They were still exploiting people. They were doing all sorts of illegal things. It was great for China, and it was always hoped that China would sort of become more of a democratic kind of place, and it never did. And for 25 years, we've been doing this nonsense. And this is probably going to change. Maybe this is one of the things that Xi is freaking out about right now, or the Communist Chinese Party mainly is freaking out about right now. Again, we'll see where it goes and how it plays out publicly. It will be kind of interesting. But Trump's right now, 100% tariff on Chinese goods starting November 1st because of what we talked about, this weird letter that China sent out to all the nations everywhere, stating some really crazy stuff about export controls, can't be used for military stuff. Like China just did something that's unprecedented, never been done before. They have, and they've been planning this, and Trump is calling them out on it, have been amassing control of some of the most important technologies. We've definitely got many of them. In fact, Trump says we've got twice as many. Certainly when it comes to chips and stuff like that, but there is a number of things that we make that, all right, China, if this is what we're going to do, we're going to have a bit of a stalemate, and we'll see who is more prepared for this than who wasn't. My bet is Trump was aware of this problem because as soon as he got into office, he started moving on it from an actual presidential level. But as a commander-in-chief, I guarantee the military we're buying from all these little shell companies all over the place. I'm sure CIA was heavily involved in buying precious metals and these rare earths in just mass quantities and bringing them back, knowing full well this was going to happen. Again, I think we were further ahead of what the deep state was going to do. Trump is pretty sharp about, what do they control? He would know that. He would just think. He'd be like, all right, what are the things they control? What do they have monopolies on? What's that for? Oh, okay. And so you quickly piece together the problem and you start to realize, all right, well, we got to get in front of this. And right now, they're not giving us shit. And right now, we could probably pull this off. They don't think they'll know it. And we know what they're up to. I don't think they know what we're up to. So we're going to see who's more prepared for this. My guess is China's probably not as prepared for what we're doing. Like, didn't ever expect us to actually kind of put up a wall and say, no, sorry, we're okay with not buying any of your shit. What are you going to do now? There's not enough Europeans that are going to buy it. China can't afford to do that. They can't, because here's the skinny of it isn't just the fact that you've got goods that are cheap, but you've got goods that are in containers that are on ships. You've got goods that are in containers. You've only got so many containers. You've now got goods filling your warehouses. You've only got so much warehouse space. Now your goods in your actual manufacturing facilities are backing up. You have to stop the line, the manufacturing line. The second you stop a line, spinning one back up is very tricky. It's much harder. Stopping one, kind of easy, but it's painful. And this is kind of what Trump's forcing on them. It's not going to be good for them. Now, Trump truthed this out. This was like an addendum a day later. It says, don't worry about China. It will all be fine. Highly respected President Xi just had a bad moment. He doesn't want depression for his country, and neither do I. The USA wants to help China, not hurt it. President Trump, sort of kind of offering an olive branch. Now, again, there's still a rumor. I don't know. I haven't seen anything say otherwise. And even what he is saying here, that President Xi had a bad moment. That could be, of course, taken a few ways. A bad moment of judgment. Or he did have a stroke. And somebody did something crazy when they got control while he was in the hospital. And put out that letter. And maybe Xi's now back, kind of, sort of, somewhat healed from the stroke. You see, there's something going on there. Crypto carnage, big time. Trump's tariff tape bomb triggers largest liquidation event in history. Of course, they're blaming Trump, which I love. It's not Trump's fault. The problem is all the people in the crypto world love crypto, think crypto's the greatest thing ever. It is the future. It's this, it's that. It's, and the problem is it's not all that. It is what it is. There's a lot of people that dump a lot of money into it, and if you get into it at certain places, you can actually make money, but it's not something you hold on to. It's a place where people park wealth for a period of time. Wealth parked and not necessarily growing. So like when it hits the cap price, where it kind of was, a lot of people were saying, then you pull out because it's not going to grow anymore. There's no point. I'm not going to gain anything out of this. The only real wealth has just been the fact that so many people started falling in love with it and bought it. And because of that, it caused the prices to go up. It is used. Bitcoin is. Ethereum maybe a little is used. Everyone says Ripple has contracts. I don't even know. I mean, supposedly, but it's like totally cheap compared to the others. So it kind of makes me wonder. Again, I've heard the technology is not necessarily great. And right now, most of our monetary things are done digitally. Like you don't literally have a dollar moving from one place to another. It's digital. It's digital money. It's moving digitally. It's close to what crypto is too. I mean, so I don't know. I've said before, I've got some Ripple. I lost, it went from $3 and something to $2.30, $2.40. So it went down a bunch. I bought it at like under $1, so I'm still up from when I bought it. But it's it's a lot of people lost a lot of money. There was actually, this thing here. It's talking about the biggest losers, the top 100 losers. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean these people just heavily invested in crypto, and the top losers dropped $743.5 million. Lost. It's lost. Leaving a net profit of $951 million, concentrated among a handful of highly leveraged short sellers. The biggest winner was this wallet name, made over $700 million from short positions, while the largest loser, the white whale, dropped $62.5 million. Again, it's kind of like stocks. It's the thing that sucks about it. And that price it hit, it might never get back to. And a lot of people that bought into it late, it's like, we'll see. Again, there's talk of all sorts of crazy stuff. But I mean, one of the reasons why I like precious metals is because it's actually a physical thing. It's not this fake thing. I mean, it's just fake. It's a fake thing. There's nothing to it. Again, a lot of people say that the fiat dollar is worthless too. I would argue that there's actually a physical component that I literally can walk around the corner and hand somebody something and nobody knows about it, right? They might know I have the dollar, but they don't know what I did with it. or what that guy's going to do with it, or what anyone's going to do with it. You can't do that with crypto, period. You cannot actually do anything secretly in a crypto world. And yeah, there's lots of things I like to do sometimes without letting the government know. Like, we pay a lot of people that work for us just a small amount of money and don't 1099 them. I'm going to give you $200 for this job you did putting, plumbing, helping me out as a plumber, and then get your information so I can do a 1099 to you. No. Pay them cash in some places. Sometimes you go through their link, whatever, but everybody's paid somebody, handyman. That's New York's trying to actually make that outlawed. So yeah, I wanted to kind of see where the cryptos were at this moment. I was paying attention. So stock markets are down pretty bad today, and this is because of this China stuff. Nasdaq's down another 3.5%. So we're already seeing some of the things happen. Again, gold going up. Let's look at silver too. Yeah, silver's up as well. So we are seeing oil's down, which is interesting. Where is the U.S.? The VIX is up, so that means people are actually becoming more nervous about the world of affairs. I don't know if the Asian markets are down. Yeah, Shanghai, they're not down bad. I think these are the futures still anyways. So yeah, this is cryptos. XRP 2.5. Bitcoin's at 113. Ethereum's at 41. I think it was close to 5, I want to say. Bitcoin was almost at 125 or somewhere around there. XRP was around $3. So yeah, this Trump's coin even went down quite a bit from where it was, and it wasn't really expensive. So again, guys, look, if you've got a 401k or an IRA, I would highly consider getting out of the system. Things are getting wobbly, and one of the only people I know that can do this quickly and fast and beautifully, tax-free, penalty-free, move it into precious metals. It's actual physical metals. They are yours, and you're also going to get up to 10% free silver. But they can DocuSign. They can, it's up to you. Again, the world, I've been saying it for a long time. I'm seeing things get kind of weird. I still think we got the crash coming later, but man, I don't know. With all the stuff that's going on, this is one of those things where I say you should already be prepared. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, and if your employer's still matching, keep throwing money into it. Okay, good. It's all good. It's a write-off and everything. But diversify. Divest some of it into some precious metals. Protect it. You're going to protect the buying power. That's all I'm going to say. Easiest way to look at it, and I say it all the time, so it's probably boring and stupid, but a 1-ounce gold coin back in 1930, worth about $30, and I could buy a fully tailored suit with a 1-ounce coin. It cost $30. It was worth $30. It's a 1-ounce coin. Today, this same coin is worth $4,000, and I can still get a suit, handmade, hand-tailored suit for a gold piece that's now worth way more. It's the value. That's what it's about. Silver, slightly undervalued, so we've still got some growth going into that. We're going to easily break 50, but I think we're going to get a little bit above that based off the way things are going. And there's definite talk of up to 80, even to 100. There's some crazy talk that I could go further. I think Trump's going to have us somewhat heading in the right direction by that point, but a lot of talk about a new currency, and the Fed's going to be destroyed by the gold. Q-Posts talk about it all the time. Get that step ahead. Get the precious metals already, and you're already halfway there. That's the beauty. And then you take that buying power and you transition that into the new currencies, and life will be fantabulous. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. drslikesgold.com. Let my friends at Gold Hill help you. Best customer service ever. Ask questions. They don't believe all the crazy crap I talk, but they'll give you advice on how this process works, not whether you should or shouldn't. That's financial planning. That's not what they're going to do. That's not what they're there to do. They're there to help you protect your wealth and to do it quickly and efficiently and actually comfortably. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. And we know that's where it's heading. All right, some anarchy, some anarchists all over the place. House GOP whip Tom Emmer slams Dems reporters for support of Hate America rally. They got this Hate America rally that's coming up. Do we need to play it? I don't think so. But he's talking just about how this whole terrorist wing of a party. What the hell, plate?
This is about one thing and one thing only: to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold, as Leader Scalise just commented on, a Hate America rally in D.C. next week.
And I don't know if it's literally called Hate America. I don't think it is. I think this is the No Kings, or are they literally calling it the Hate America? I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, they keep calling it that, so I'm not going to disagree with them. But here's Speaker Johnson. You're trying to.
We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're afraid of that crowd, that they don't want to bow, that they want to bow to them, bow the knee to them, and they don't want to take incoming from them. And so they're willing to hold the American people hostage so that they don't have to face an angry mob that's a big chunk of their base. Now, if that's a rumor, they need to come out and clarify that it's not, but that is what we are hearing is their actual motivation, and it is outrageous. All this has got to come to an end. I'll turn it back over.
For those of us that kind of get that this is something that's playing out, or let's call it as simple as a movie, though I think it's slightly more beautiful than that, but whatever. We realize this needs to play out, right? People have to see this. Democrats, there's still a lot of Democrats that are actually going to make it into the independent realm. A lot of Democrats are going to have that epiphany moment. The ones that don't, we'll see what happens. Most of them, I think, are kind of going to go crazy. And they'll either have health issues and die. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying they're going to do something illegal and end up in jail, or any number of weird things, or possibly roll their sleeves up and end up in some bad way. We know the money. We've talked about this. Again, $100,000 on different groups. I was listening to a lady that was on Nino, and she was kind of trying to poo-poo a lot of this. She's like, none of Soros isn't giving any money. So I don't know. I kind of wonder, if how that plays out, because I don't think she was necessarily correct. I actually think what they're coming out with is correct. I don't think she is. So I just find it interesting that there's already people that are trying to counter this narrative in a weird kind of way. And a lot of what she said was very cool, and as far as us trying to take back our streets and not trusting Antifa, but I just felt like she had either some misinformation that she was aware of or was intentionally doing. I'm not sure. Again, I don't want to poo-poo her. I don't know anything about her. We have this Rutgers professor is calling for this militant resistance, and then he apparently flees to Europe. I don't want to play it. It's kind of boring. But, he's just talking about people are going to get out in the streets. Dr. Brea has regularly referred to mainstream conservative figures such as Bill O'Reilly as fascists while calling for militant action against them. His rhetoric echoes the kind of extremism that resulted in Charlie Kirk's assassination last month, is what the Rutgers TPUSA statement is. And that's what these guys are doing. All right, I'll play it.
And so violence is part of it, right? They do think that it needs to be one of the tools in the toolbox. Fight fascists by writing letters so you don't have to fight them with fists. You fight them with fists so you don't have to fight them with guns. You fight them with guns so you don't have to fight them with tanks. And so whatever we can do now to make it clear that we're going to raise hell if this march towards fascism continues, that makes it clear, I think, that there will be opposition, there will be resistance. They can't just do whatever we want. It's not that hard to imagine a situation where we go from peaceful protest and the courts to, okay, now we have to actually fight back, but actually fighting, weapons and combat, or we may get killed. Or not so militant protest throughout history. I don't know the motivations of those individuals, but there are people who have been involved in various kinds of activist movements who show up recognizing that, number one, they don't want to be identified by the police, and number two, they may well get attacked. And then there are some who actually do want to, physically push ICE or the police out of their neighborhood, and that's a part of the, debate among the left is what is the role of those kinds of protest tactics. members of Antifa groups would be one sort of small facet of the milieu who would think that sometimes is justified. That we need to get out there in the streets, that we need to, escalate our forms of resistance and recognize that if we don't stop this march towards fascism now, then what's happening to migrants from ICE raids could end up happening to anyone who opposes the administration in a few years if we're not out there making it clear that we won't let that happen. And I'm concerned about your kind of average centrist or liberal who opposes Trump not being ready for how we may be needing to put our bodies on the line to not only stop ICE agents, but potentially the National Guard or the military if suddenly they start arresting all Democrats.
Now, again, the lady that was on Nino, one of the things she said is that these guys really aren't organized, that they're all these separate splinter cells, that there is no upper generals, if you will. And that is categorically, deniably incorrect, based off of evidence that we can see with our own eyes. So, again, I don't understand. I'm not trying to poo-poo her, but, again, that's just categorically false. We've seen them show up with the same gear, the same face masks. We know there's training facilities where they're literally learning how to deal with police and crowds and not necessarily break the law. This has been shown. So if there's any level of that, then there is organization that's helping. And there is a top-down always because they're either making money or they're funding it, which is probably a little of both. So this idea that that's not happening, I think, is nonsense. And, yeah, we are kind of, I think, forcing them further into organization even more because of the way that Trump is attacking them, that they're literally losing their funding for lawyers. They're, again, organization somehow, because there's all these different groups that help out, these NGOs. Somehow that's happening. Maybe the people that are on the street don't necessarily know what's up. They just know they're always taken care of when they end up in jail. That's no longer going to happen, though. So this is a new thing, and they're freaking out. Oh, this is just fun watching this perp walk. Now, I'm assuming this is a girl. Kind of looks like it, but hard to tell. The sad eyes, she's probably gotten some pepper spray, but she's definitely a keeper. She's a keeper. Hell yeah. Love that. Watch it wiggle, see it jiggle, cool and fruity. Isn't that how that Jello song goes? Anyway, whatever. I have problems. I do. I don't know what to do about it. Portland leftists plan laser tag attack on helicopters. Now, here they're saying federal helicopters. We're only going after federal helicopters. Well, the problem is they shine the lasers at any helicopter because a lot of them are too stupid to know the difference, frankly, between, I don't know, police helicopter and a federal helicopter and, what about one of the medic helicopters, that save people's lives and stuff? Yeah, well, so those are being grounded now, is what we're finding out. Disgusting move. Antifa has just forced OHSU Hospital in Portland to divert away from their air ambulance helicopters because leftists are plotting to shine lasers in the sky. Right. This, again, is playing out perfectly. Optics suck for Antifa, for anyone that supports Antifa, for the Democrats that continue to support these mostly peaceful protests. All right, keep at it. Again, I double dog dare you. I got no qualms about continuing to point out your hypocrisy. It's only you. Only you. Right? It's like, come on. Sickening video of the New York City subway beatdown. Italian immigrant literally killed. Stomped on this dude a dozen times. I'm not going to play the video, but this guy has been arrested 5 different times and let back out on the street in New York. And here he is back. This time he's gone. He's at Rikers now, and he's going to be deported. Dude was literally just beaten down. I mean, killed the person. Killed him. Smiling after with his broken teeth. It's insane, right? I mean, this is the world that they want us to live in. A U.S. federal appeals court ruled Saturday that National Guard troops could remain under federal control, but they cannot be deployed in Chicago. That was because there's a second statute or whatever. The Hill said, quote, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit granted the Trump administration's request for an administrative stay in part, meaning the president is allowed to federalize the National Guard in Illinois. The appeals court, however, denied the administration's request to be able to deploy the National Guard. Unless further ordered by the court to do so, Trump do not need to return their home states, though. So the troops don't need to go home while we're still figuring this out, the court's basically saying. But it sounds like since there's no immediate burning, then the court's going to be like, yeah, we're gonna do the thing that's less likely in their minds to cause harm. We'll see. We'll see if that. I mean, I think timing's everything. I think this is all being done intentionally. You got Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez. He's a Democrat. He says rhetoric from the Illinois governor and the Chicago mayor are pushing the city and county to a dangerous place. He added that the anti-ICE radicals are showing why the deployment of National Guard soldiers is necessary. There you go. We've already showed a bunch of people in the neighborhoods that are like, I'd like safer city. But again, the mayor with a 4% approval rating and going down, I'm sure, continuing to fail. Pritzker is going to end up in the same place, so we're going to absolutely destroy his chances of ever experiencing anything in the political arena. And Trump just dislikes him. Even his family, he even always points out how Pritzker's family is very well-to-do and has like disowned him because he's such a bad guy. So it's interesting how that's playing out. San Francisco leftist triggered as tech billionaire calls for National Guard troops. All the lefties got all freaked out. This is the dude that started and probably still owns the Salesforce company. His name is Mark Benioff. And he is. He's like, no, I want to see National Guard come here and make it safe and again in New York or in San Francisco. I've been there too. I've been there a while back. It was awesome. It was awesome. We were walking around everywhere. It was beautiful. It was awesome. And then I went back for a Salesforce convention one time. I got to go. It was kind of cool. 2015, I want to say it was. And it was already kind of getting crappy. And it just got significantly worse from there, especially after COVID. So, yeah, this guy, he can't even have people come into the office. They were getting beat up and stuff, like mugged. And it really was bad. Still is. So, yeah, the left is freaking out. But at the same time, a lot of these guys don't live there in the city or work there in the city like he was, right? Some of them, the valley, Silicon Valley is not San Francisco. Not far, but it's not there, right? Shutdown stuff. We got a little bit going on here. Donald Trump taking a question from, I think this is a reporter who's pissed off about. Does it say? I'd like to, yeah. Anyway, let's see.
Speech question, because you've said that you restored free speech in America.
Yeah.
Is that free speech including for people who are harshly critical of you, for your political opponents, for people who say things you don't like?
I've become immune
treat
to
you
it.
unfairly?
I've become immune to it. There's never been a person that's had more unfair publicity than me, and that's why your network paid me $15 million, or $16 million, I believe, to be exact, George Slopadopoulos, and that's why CBS paid me a lot of money, too. And that's why I sued the New York Times 2 days ago for a lot of money. Because I'm winning. I mean, I'm winning the cases. And the reason I'm winning is because you're guilty, John. You're guilty. ABC is a terrible network, a very unfair network, and you should be ashamed of yourself. NBC is equally bad. I don't know who's worse. I think they're equally bad. And, for you to stand there and act so innocent and ask me a question like that. But look, you paid a big price because you were dishonest, John. The reason I won that lawsuit was because you were dishonest. You were proven to be dishonest. And so you can't sit back and just say, oh, well, what do you think? Like you're some wonderful person. You're not a wonderful person. Frankly, you're a terrible reporter. You know it, and so do I. Okay.
Wow. That was Slopadopoulos, by the way, as I wanted to correct myself, but I didn't want to stop it. Yeah, that's pretty harsh, right? U.S. Democrats say they're not going to end the shutdown unless literally planes fall out of the sky, people. I mean, just in case it matters, we do have something similar.
I changed his mind. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so this is Huntington Beach. This happened this weekend. You can see, I don't know what happened, why they decided to pull up really hard. I mean, they were way too close to the building and the trees, so that was a weird thing that was happening all over the place. And then when they finally went and pulled up hard, it seems like that extra torque might have caused it to spin harder, so they were pumping the pedal to keep it from spinning. This helicopter couldn't handle it because you see at some point that back prop popped off, and once that popped off, this thing was screwed. It had no chance. There's no way to counter rotate. Like you're extra toast at that point, and toast is what it became. Again, I believe, I don't think they lived. No, I want to say some. Hang on. Incident began. Where are you? I want to say some people died. 5 injuries. That's it. That's awesome. If that's all it is, that's fantastic. Wow. Owner of chopper was identified. Aviation enthusiast who regularly executes risky routes in so that was pilot error. That's not good at all. Wow. Anyways, moving on. So again, the helicopters are falling from the skies. Sort of counts. Time to end the shutdown, I guess, Dems.
Against Republicans so they can appease who? The far left base of their party. It is shameful. And for what? Chuck Schumer, the architect of this shutdown, is trying to bow to the Marxist wing of his party. You heard him yesterday. He said in his own words, every day of the shutdown, he said, quote, gets better for us. Better for who, Chuck? For the Democrats in the Senate? So you can bow to the Marxist base and not get a challenge? Here's another headline from Politico yesterday. Quote, Chuck Schumer's critics are satisfied. Yeah, the far left base, the party is satisfied. They don't mind. The troops go without pay and civilian workers are furloughed. They don't care. Former DNC chair David Hogg, he heaped praise on Chuck Schumer as well. This is what Chuck Schumer was after. This is what he desires. The praise from the far left. David Hogg said, quote, give credit where credit's due. This is a big step up. A big step up. While you're delaying flights, while you're making people go through this pain. The co-founder of the far-left group Indivisible said this yesterday publicly, quote, Chuck Schumer hasn't surrendered yet. I call that progress. There's one inescapable fact. It's a glaring fact that everybody in America can see. Chuck Schumer is hurting real Americans for his own political survival.
Yeah, it's not going well for him either. Not even a little. No. Here we got the White House is slamming Chuck Schumer after grueling sight of our American troops lining up with their families en masse at food banks.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
In a normal week, we usually run out of food about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last week we ran out of food about 10:30.
It's so weird the way they show those pictures.
Like we were here last week and we were...
Right, like, why are they showing that image? I see nobody. I see nothing. You see anything? You guys see anything there? Of course, I'm kidding. Sorry. Bad joke. I love when people wear camouflage. I'm like, I can't see your legs. That's so weird. I can see the rest of your body. You're just like floating around. How do you do that? Most of the shit I say to people's not funny, but it's hilarious to me, and that's where I live. That's unfortunate. Kennedy, he's predicting Schumer's going to have to cave. This is interesting.
Here's how I predict Schumer's going to get out of it. I could be wrong, but I think we're not going to budge. And he's going to be forced to go to 6 or 8 of his Democratic Senate colleagues and say, look, I need a favor. Vote to get me out of this shutdown.
Yeah.
He said, now, he's going to tell them, now, look, I got to vote no. Yeah. And I got to dog cuss you a little bit. We got to make it. We got to have some play acting and make this look good. And then we'll come out of the shutdown. But Bernie, you know, he's tough. But the danger for Bernie, I'm serious, what he's got to watch, he doesn't want to look like he's had a mutiny. Yeah. Because then he's weaker than when he went in.
Yeah, right.
And he wasn't strong then.
And as he's acknowledging, He is weaker, significantly weaker. We have Hillary Clinton's no longer at play. Well, she's out of politics anyway. Schumer has been removed, and they had to replace, who's the dude that Hakeem Jeffries, I forgot who it was. Nancy Pelosi. She's gone. We are removing the old guard. It's happening. Donald Trump truthed out. Chuck Schumer recently said, quote, every day gets better, end quote, during their radical left shutdown. I disagree. If nothing is done, because of leader Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, our brave troops will miss the paychecks they are rightfully due on October 15th. That is why I am using my authority as Commander-in-Chief to direct our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to use all available funds to get our troops paid on October 15th. We have identified funds to do this, and Secretary Hegseth will use them to pay our troops. I will not allow the Democrats to hold our military and the entire security of our nation hostage with their dangerous government shutdown. The radical left Democrats should open the government, and then we can work together to address health care and many other things that they want to destroy. Thank you for your attention to this matter. They can't survive this optically. You literally aren't even paying they're fucking standing in food banks. How can you do that, Schumer? This dude's getting rocked. We're seeing it real time. It's freaking awesome. Sergeant News Network put this out. Trump just showed the world that Hamas is easier to negotiate with than Democrats. Let that sink in. I mean, it's pretty tight. Literally. Terrorists, Hamas, easier than Democrats. And they never do anything wrong. That's the best part of it. Trump names new head of White House Presidential Personnel Office. Dan Scavino is going to be in charge of this. And he says great things about Sergio Gore, who is being moved to an ambassador with India, or to India. And so that's kind of a cush job, to my understanding. You get an ambassadorship, like I'd love to be an ambassador for Trump. I'd do that in a heartbeat. I don't want to be a politician ever. Fudge that. Like, no way. I would never want to be a politician. Never. Not even if it was good for the country. Dan's awesome, though. I like it. So he's going to be doing that. And like again, Sergio Gore's not being kicked out. We're getting prepared for the next phase. And it's probably more of a long-term phase. We'll see. Again, how everything plays out. ICE director erupts over illegal migrants. New York issued no name given driver's license. Literally. A dude driving a semi-truck got a commercial driver's license given to him by New York. And it literally said that no name given when it was looked on the license. No name given. And then, to make it even better, it actually had the no name given, and then it said real ID. There was the real ID star in the upper corner. No name given, real ID checkboxed, if you will. Like you got the blue checkbox in Twitter. That's insane. Gavin Newsom signs bill that's going to build reparations bureaucracy. Anyone that comes from slaves is going to get to do that. I mean, really, if you take our heritage back far enough when the slaves actually existed, you'll find that Mexico, I believe, still owned this land. So I'm not sure where they're going to go with this, but whatever. As a taxpayer, I wouldn't pay for it. This can't be legal. I don't know, something weird. This guy's such a retard. Now, there's a bunch of illegal stuff he's for sure doing. He just signed a new law that's broadening California's red flag law. He's added some other people, I guess, attorney, district, extensive list. Who'd they add? Its existing law allows petition for these gun violence restraining orders to be made by a law enforcement officer or an immediate family member, employer, coworker, teacher, as specified of the subject of the petition. But now they're going to add a list of people who can petition. Anyway, whatever. Bunch of nonsense. Still an illegal order, the red flag stuff where they can just be like, yeah, I think the guy's crazy and he's going to do something nutty. And they just come show up at your house and just take your guns. It's like, what did I do? Who said this? And you don't even get to see your accusers, which I think is illegal, right? That's one of your rights. Governor Newsom signs a bill requiring eligibility check fee for a gun barrel. These all illegal. Again, there's so many things that we've done illegally, and they've been overturned, by the way. All the gun stuff that Gavin Newsom and them have tried to do has all been overturned by the Supreme Court, and here they are going with more stuff. He just decided that a Glock pistol he's designing it a machine gun. Because, and I think, because you can 3D print an aftermarket piece that can make it fully auto, which is insane, by the way. I've actually seen people try to shoot him. It's impossible to control. It is just, it's like, whoa. Probably like trying to shoot an Uzi, it's just redonkulous. And an Uzi's at least got more weight to it. But yeah, not good. Not good. So Gavin, again, that's probably not legal. I think I got one more illegal. Oh, this is different. DHS Tricia McLaughlin correctly says the Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson are both aiding and abetting criminals. This is an interesting angle that things might end up going. Trump's, of course, agreed with this. Check it out.
Yeah, but look, it's not just the protesters pushing back. You've got a federal judge in Illinois temporarily blocking the administration from deploying hundreds of National Guard troops in Illinois. This is just 2 days after 200 National Guardsmen arrived there. The president going after Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson for not protecting federal agents. He writes this on Truth Social yesterday. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Trish, your reaction.
Well, Governor Pritzker and Brandon Johnson are aiding and abetting criminals. We're seeing that day in and day out. The individuals who are in that ICE detention facility where those protesters are assaulting our law enforcement, just creating chaos. They have drug traffickers, MS-13 gang members, child predators. That's who J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson are protecting. So President Trump will do everything in his power to protect the public. You're seeing time and time again J.B. Pritzker going on MSNBC, going on CNN, trying to get his viral moments, spewing these lies, saying that there's racial profiling going on, claiming that we are arresting children. The lies are disgusting. They're totally unfounded. But going back to the polling that you just saw, the American people are smart, to J.B. Pritzker's chagrin. They know what's going on. They see through the charade, and we are going to continue to carry out the mandate the American people gave us on November 5th, 2024.
He chagrined all over her, man. I think if you say anything properly, it can sound dirty, in my opinion. I'll chagrin on you. Hell yeah. Eric Doherty, they posted this. It's got to be British, right? Daughe. Fuck, man, really? You don't need the GH to just smash in a bunch of vowels. What the fuck, man? Why don't you add some others, too? You got the Y at the end. I got that. Sometimes okay. Whatever. Eric Doherty. He's a good guy. I'm not ripping on him. Just saying. I feel for you.
I saw a guy in a Smoky Bear back there. I believe that is state police.
Obviously, and again, you have these situations where law enforcement is going to hold their ground, as Joy was mentioning, and when they cross the line, this is the response.
What they do there is when they've identified someone who's gone across the line, the proverbial line of doing something harmful, and they need to arrest them, they bring the line in front of them, they surround them, they actually protect that person too. That's why they're doing that. They're making sure that person doesn't get trampled. They've got to get...
So there's actually some riots, well, not riots, but some arrests happening by the police. So this is Pritzker's attempt to clean things up, and hopefully they can do it. And I think Trump will be like, sweet, you mean it's actually getting safer in Chicago? Fantastic. Why didn't you do this before? Why did I have to threaten to bring in the National Guard? And maybe that's why they didn't try to allow them to force the National Guard on them yet. They can do an emergency stay on that if they need to, but they're like, no, we're just proving we've got the right to nationalize your National Guard if we desire. So we can do that. Otherwise, all right, show us what you got. And we'll see. We'll see. I think they're probably not going to succeed. I hope they do, though. I do. I actually hope they do. Unlike Democrats, I actually want to see us successful no matter what. And if you, as a Democrat, finally figure it out and be like, oh, I get it now. Okay, sweet. Nevada resident exposes how his vote's been stolen.
And I never voted in that election, so why would the Secretary of State's website say I voted when I didn't vote?
Let me get the gal that actually handles those questions up here.
I'm sure you're getting a bunch of them. And I'm going to put the answers out there. Maybe the world will stop calling you. But yeah, it said I voted in that election, then it said I voted by a mail-in ballot in another election that I never voted by mail-in ballot either. It was interesting.
Yeah, I've actually I have a buddy that's had this happen in California. Well, actually, to be honest, I didn't look where my vote was, but I voted last year, and I think it sent me something that I didn't even know they had the information from me. And I was like, oh, that scared me a little bit. I was a little bummed. It's like they know my email. Ugh, it's horrible. Scared me. DanRadioStyle.healthyhome.com. Incredible products. You might have to put https:// whatever. Someone, I don't know, for some reason they're trying to do www. Don't do that. Just literally type danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Don't get fancy, and that should get you right there. Should work beautifully. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. They got 5 products, really, I think. Stem Active, just get your stem cell count higher. Stem cells heal you. And this isn't putting stem cells in you. It gets your body with natural ingredients to create more stem cells. As we age, that slows, that simmers. These are your healing cells. So if you're losing your healing cells and you're oxidizing, antioxidants, they're supposed to pull the oxidizers out. So if you're oxidizing, aging faster than you can heal, well, you start to see what the detrimental effects are, or disease and things start to happen. You can help against that. The stem cells do that. They actually help counteract. There's a gel. I've been trying the gel. My girlfriend stopped taking it, so I've got some extra. And it's good. It's different. I like it. It's good. I mean, it's not like, the taste was really good. It reminds me of something I can't quite place yet. But I was doing that and the collagen at the same time, and good stuff. I'm enjoying it. And it's a neat way to take it. Normally I do the pills, but I'll be honest, the gel's kind of nicer. I do find myself cutting the top off, and if you push it together, it makes a neat little hole, and you just guzzle it. So it's pretty awesome. Balance is this, it's saving a lot of women's sanity, I think, out there. A lot of women in 2 phases of their lives. Early on, a lot of hormones going on inside the body. They find this is working really well, right? Girls, when they're getting older and things are starting to happen and, having their first period and stuff like that, it's like I know anything about this shit other than what I've been told, but whatever. That's a good time for balance. The other one's when women start to go through that change where their hormones start to shift into the twilight years of our life. I don't know how to say that nicely either. This helps in both cases. Plant-based, there's no hormones in it. I was actually on a call with 2 different ladies describing their experience. One of them, both of them actually were on the pills that I guess they give you ladies, the hormone helpers or whatever they are, and they're actual synthetic hormones, I think, or hormones in general. One of them, that didn't work at all. Balance totally worked. The other, they kind of worked, and she took balance also and said that was like the difference. Boom. And it just set her perfect. So again, the temperatures, the emotions, the moods, a lot of this stuff kind of trills and balances in, which ultimately affects relationships, how you're working, how you're, like a lot of things that we don't really realize get impacted when we're out of whack, right? If you're sick, right? How many people depend on you? That's the thing, right? So think when you're a little out of whack. This is helping. I guess it's the number of pumps too. It's like the pump, like some people start with 3 pumps, put it on your wrist, you rub your wrists together, and they're like, wow. And it's pretty quick. Pretty quick, you'll actually start to be like, oh wow, this is cool. And some of them have dialed it down to 1 pump, and that's all they need. They're good. So it's one of those things that you have some control over how much you use. It's not like take 2 pills and there's 60 pills, and guess what? In 30 days you're going to run out. So this is actually something that you've got a little bit of adjusting that you find. Amaze is incredible. It's collagen. It's a peptide. Peptide means it's really small little ingredient, and it's liquid. It's not one of those powders. Those powders end up all around your stomach and kind of creates almost like a paper mache on your outer walls of your stomach. So the powders kind of aren't real good, but this Amaze, the lady that owns this company, this is something that she really wanted. This is one of her key products, probably for the hair, and it helps. Sagging skin, sore muscles, your hair, joints, also nails, is all about collagen. And the peptide's best way to get it. It's a liquid. It's absorbed almost immediately. It will make an enormous difference with your skin, your hair. You will see it within days of starting it. Less will start to fall out. You'll notice. You'll notice. Prime is energy. It's a powder. It's awesome. It's called a nitric oxide booster. Essentially, it helps get more oxygen in your blood, long and skinny of it. Kind of helps expand the vessels a little bit, but more is moving through, more of the appropriate stuff, and it basically translates into more energy. A lot of these guys, when they're playing football, right, they put the oxygen masks on because they want to kind of hyper-oxygenate their blood. It gives them extra energy. It allows them to fatigue slower. This is kind of doing the same thing. It's allowing you to carry more oxygen in your blood. It's a very useful thing. And again, STEM Active for your pet, it's about half the price of what it costs us people. And this will do the same thing for your pet. It's giving the stem cells up. This is an amazing company. They have amazing products. It gets you focusing in a positive direction of health and being healthy. And actually, healthy home and heal thy home. It's kind of funny both ways. DanRadioStyle.healthyhome.com. That's DanRadioStyle.healthyhome.com. Healthy choices, healthy living. You're going to love it. And you guys, the products are incredible. They're incredible. Just great ingredients all the way across the board. All right, some sabotage. Google's warning there's more than 100 companies hit this major Oracle hacking campaign. These people, they hacked Oracle hard, and they waited weeks to infiltrate many companies and people of prominence, and have gotten data on a bunch of them, it seems. The Oracle e-business suite, they use it to manage customer relationships. It's kind of their ERPs, or their what are they? I forgot what they point of sale POS system, right? But it's their customer relationships, suppliers, manufacturing, logistics, a lot of different information. That's actually more of an ERP system, I think. But anyway, whatever. I'm getting lost in myself. It got hacked. There was a security flaw. They found it. They went to many companies and took advantage of it. And then they started blackmailing these executives with the information they have. Google was definitely on the receiving end of that. So they're letting people know this is happening. They're calling it CLOP, C-L-O-P campaigns. And this, I don't know, interesting. This is unfortunate. No survivors after a deadly blast at the Tennessee military explosives plant. We talked about that. Just boom. And nobody survived. I don't know if they haven't told us yet how many died. Probably still some family members that are being contacted. But certainly everyone's sort of finding out the hard way. It's like, if you knew anybody that was working there that day, I'm sorry for your loss. Heavy rain in Mexico sets off floods and landslides, killing at least 37. So crazy stuff's happening, folks, all over the place. Again, I think weather's a lot more factored, not in the CO2 as much as other things too. Just to be fair with all the corrections that are often thrown at people. It's like there's just a lot of information to suggest the sun actually does play a part in our weather. I don't know if you've noticed it gets cold at night, warm during the day. It's weird. Massive move. President Trump's launching Trump RX. It's interesting.
AstraZeneca, the largest pharmaceutical manufacturer in the United Kingdom, is committing to offer Americans major discounts on their vast catalog of prescription drugs, one of the great companies, by the way, and a most favored nation's pricing clause. So most favored nation is you're going to pay whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world is, that's what you're going to be paying. And I had it going very well in my first term, but we were interrupted by a rigged election, so I was unable to carry it forward. We started it, but this was something one of the reasons I wanted to run again was we had to have favored nations where the world is not going to be paying just a tiny fraction of what we were paying. I want to thank CEO Pascal Soriot, a very highly respected, one of the most respected men in business and certainly in the industry, for joining us today, as well as Secretary Howard Lutnick, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, FDA Commissioner Marty McCary, and Virginia Governor, a man who's done an incredible job. And good luck with the upcoming election. I know you're working very hard. I watch you. You're right there. He's out there working. He wants to see that young woman win, and the Attorney General, who I endorsed, et cetera, et cetera. Glenn Youngkin. Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you for being here. For many years, Americans have paid the highest prices anywhere in the world for prescription drugs by far. Many times the amount that other countries are paying is ridiculous. Upon taking office, I signed an executive order to make sure that Americans pay no more for prescription medications than the lowest prices for the same drug in other locations in developing nations. Today, AstraZeneca is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices. In other words, the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's what we get. A move that will save American taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars each year. And I tell the story, Glenn, that in my first term, I had the honor of being the first president in 28 years to lower drug prices during the course of the year. And we actually did. And I was so proud of myself. We called a news conference. I announced it. It was 1/8 of 1%. 1/8 of 1%. Now drug prices are going to be going down 100%, 400%, 600%, 1,000% in some cases. But for 1/8 of a cent, Bobby, think of that. I was so proud because for 28 years, nobody had done it.
And he's back to, to let you know that I can really shake it down. But yeah, I mean, Trump's doing it. He is, promises made, promises kept. Again, there's so many people that are bashing him a little, and it's so weird. Like, there's people like, man, I'm not trying to, I don't know. I don't want to, anyway. You always get in trouble when you start calling people out. Obamacare. Yeah, the one that was supposed to make everything better. Steal from the poor, give to the rich. Introducing the Obamacare scam. This is broken down so nicely. Broken promises. Obama said premiums would drop. Instead, they skyrocketed. Millions lost their doctors and affordable plans. Crony capitalism. Small insurers were crushed while mega insurers thrived under government protection. Hidden subsidies. COVID, temporary expansions now funnel taxpayer dollars to wealthy Americans, even six-figure earners. Phantom coverage. Roughly 40% of Obamacare enrollees never file claims, meaning billions wasted on unused insurance. False fear tactics. Democrats warn 60 million will lose coverage if subsidies end, but only 24 million are even enrolled. And finally, real result. The middle class pays more so bureaucrats and big insurance can profit. Even the Washington Post admits Obamacare was never affordable. And it never cared for us, that's for sure. Also, here in California, they still force you to pay, by the way. You have to pay a tax if you don't have insurance, by the way, here in California. That's just for one more thing that's stupid here. Wind, solar projects could stick taxpayers to the tap. Just, it costs a crap ton of money to break these things down once you decide it doesn't work, or it's so run down, or we can't afford to replace the turbines, which already, many of them are already past their lifespan. And it's not very long, how long they typically last. They have caught fire. The blades have actually broken off in numerous cases. Like, there's a lot of problems with wind and solar in general. So it's expensive to clean up. They don't even have good, talk about a good business to consider getting into. If there was some real capital, would be to recycle solar panels. There's a lot of very interesting ingredients. Silver, for sure. And if there's a way to get those things separated without spending an insane amount of money, but you'd basically get everybody's business, it'd be kind of cool. All said. Japan's ruling coalition collapsing. It looks like they're trying to keep this chick from becoming the prime minister. So there's this weird, one of the Labor Party or whatever, Liberal Democrat Party is now announced that they're going to break from the ruling coalition. So they're now not going to vote for her. So again, the deep state does not want to let go of Japan. Japan's another place that's fighting for its very existence. And it's poor economy's tough, and its currency. From what I understand, for $1 here, it's like $100 there, right? So 100 yen. I think that's what they are. I believe I can fly. Macron reappointed the same person that just quit. By the way, just reappointed the same person that quit. This is where the deep state's at. Literally, the person that quit just reappointed them. We'll see how long that lasts. Again, can't make this shit up. Polish president's rejecting the EU migration relocation plan. He's like, we're not taking any more people. Essentially, fuck you. Shorten it all up. I'm curious. He's basically actually yelling, almost, if you will, at the European Union's leadership. And they're like, what you should be doing is closing our border as a Europe. No more immigrants are coming in. We're done taking them. So Europe is finally starting to push back against the deep state European Union. Each one of these countries should be sovereign completely. And there's no need to make the European Union of States. You've already got trade agreements, what's the benefit? You're your own country. You're your own sovereignty legally as far as the world courts are considered. That's the whole point of the EU, is to try to just sweep up a bunch of countries in one fell swoop. And it's failing as well. Deep State's losing. It's, how quick everything moves is, well, it's as fast as we can handle, I guess. Trump envoy Witkoff speaks at the hostage square in Tel Aviv. I guess the crowd booed when Netanyahu was thanked and then cheers for Trump. So this is where some people are at right now. I don't know if we have to play all of this. We'll see.
To Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh. Okay. To Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, let me just finish my thought. I was in the trenches, guys. Let me just finish my thought. I was in the trenches with the Prime Minister. Believe me, he was a very important part here. The Prime Minister and his staff, Ron Dermer included, have both. Okay, okay. Have both sacrificed so much for this country and devoted their lives to the service of Israel. Their dedication to the history and destiny of this nation stands out tonight. They've given everything, their time, their energy, and their hearts, to building a safer, stronger future for the Jewish people. Their commitment to this country has never wavered, and it never will. We thank you. The President thanks you. Thank you. And to President Donald J. Trump.
So yeah, we see the difference now. Again, I'm putting some trust in what's happening in the process. There's a lot of people that are couch quarterbacking, if you will, and there's a very strong anti-Israel, the Jews run the world kind of theme that I've grown up with my whole life, and it's weird. It's very weird to me, actually. I mean, again, it's just I get it, actually, from a historic standpoint and the Bible and a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of lead into this. I get it totally, but the way we are very quick to harm others on this planet for any number of silly reasons, in my opinion, just because someone believes something differently, to me, it's such a weird reason to want to harm somebody, right? Like, oh, you believe in a different God, you must die. Like, that's so weird to me. It's like we're all, I don't know, brothers. Ceasefire in the Gaza is apparently holding through the weekend, so we'll see if it continues to happen that way. Clashes continuing with Pakistan and Afghanistan. Their cross-border, Afghanistan actually attacked back now. This is some interesting stuff. So I'm not sure, but Trump kind of got us involved with Pakistan. Pakistan is formidable, unquestionably. And so that will put some pressure on the Chinese kind of control of the area a lot. India's kind of gotten in bed with China, but Pakistan's like, nah, fuck all you all. And so they're very cool. Very cool how this is playing out. Never thought this would be the thing. Oh, holy crap. That just scared the shit out of me, too. If you got scared, I got scared. Oh, my God. If I'm smart, I'd cut that out, but no. Russia's completing ground tests of a new space rocket. It's the Soyuz 5 booster. We don't need to show it. It just shows it firing in numerous different videos. It's yay. But, yeah, it's new. It's heavier. It's supposed to be able to pull up 17 tons. Again, that's a pretty serious amount of firing. That's cool. All right, so good stuff. Oh, that's just so loud. Let's turn the volume down maybe, huh? That will help. Musk's data center is going to power a lot. They're saying, or it needs to. Anyway, need to double U.S. electric outputs. We've already talked about earlier how electricity is becoming way more expensive extremely quickly. So yeah, something has to actually happen, and it can't be more renewables because that's stupid. They take up way too much land. They are not that effective. They're extraordinarily expensive form of energy. There are cheaper forms of energy. We are shooting ourselves in the foot trying to do it the other way, especially when you think about how many greenhouse gases you create trying to make all these crazy green energies. Like solar panels are not clean energy. It takes years and years and years. In fact, most solar panels aren't necessarily going to last as long as it takes to finally get your efficiency out of them. So again, there's better ways to do this. Hydrogen technology, fusion, there's a lot of options. And well, if you really have fun, like Tesla technology, there's likely a lot of stuff that we can do. We'll see. Joe Biden starts radiation therapy for his prostate cancer. And so, again, good luck to you, sir, no matter what. Still don't wish horrible things on you. Actress Diane Keaton passes away at 79. Very sad. She was father of the bride, First Wives Club, Diane Keaton. She's been around for a while. 79 years, I guess, apparently, roughly. Moody Blues bassist, singer, songwriter John Lodge, dead at 82. Possibly going to inspire this week's show. I'm still rolling on that, but I love Moody Blues. I don't want to, I could do a forfer, but I don't want to do that per se, but there's some good stuff in that genre of music. I kind of dig it. It was sort of some of the stuff that my mom got me into when I was younger, so I kind of dig some of that. So we'll see. That might be the musical spotlight this week. All said, lots happening, guys, and I'm expecting some trippy stuff to continue happening. If you're in a 401k, get out, folks. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. We're at that place where you got to see the writing on the wall, right? I hope so. All said, yeah, lots happening. And we're seeing kinetic movement occurring. There's going to be counterattacks. Head on a swivel. Just be mindful. Be prepared. Don't know what's going to happen. Everyone said a lot of stuff. Whatever people say is what they say. What actually happens is what matters. The second something actually happens in your reality, deal with that, okay? Look outside your front door. Don't worry about what everyone's saying. Worry about what's going on. Big difference. I love you guys. We're doing this together. We'll get through this. We will. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe, Dan Radio Style.